This is a bread maker that my wife bought me for Valentine's Day. I make bread in it 1 or 2 times per week, but the included recipe book also has recipes for jam. I put mashed up blueberries, white sugar, and a tablespoon of lemon juice into the pan, then press the jam button. In about 2 hours, it's been cooked, mixed, and reduced into a warm jam. Except not really. The texture is still pretty runny. It thickens up a little bit when you put it into the fridge overnight to cool off, but if you want the texture of store-bought jam, you really need to add pectin to the mix before cooking. The recipe book notes this, to be fair, but I continue to make the bad runny jam. Instead of treating it like one finished product, I strain the solids out and then let the thick liquid trickle into its own bowl. I pack both portions up in their own jars or deli containers. The solids are chunky and spoonable, like a fresh, runny jam, and the liquid is now more of a syrup. Not like a syrup you would get from Torani or Monin, but a fresh, vibrant syrup that tastes like real concentrated fruit. I showed you blueberries first, since those are small and easy to mash with no peeling, coring, or slicing, but it's not much harder to do big chunky fruits if you buy them from the freezer section. I'll let these frozen strawberries thaw as a second example. Yes, you could wash, slice, and stem a big thing of fresh strawberries, but the frozen ones are gonna taste better since they were frozen at peak ripeness and I don't have to cut the stems off myself. I do wanna mash them up with an immersion blender. You could just use a fork, especially if you own sturdy silverware like the Nork forks sold at dinnerwithbarkley.com. You make this recipe just like before. Fruit, sugar, and honestly the lemon juice is optional if you've given up on trying to make that recipe for jam. When the cycle is complete, I strain it and separate the components so that I can use this sweet chunky pulp for topping yogurt and ice cream and toast, and this strawberry flavored syrup for making matcha drinks and strawberry milk for the child. You will never get a flavor this fresh and pure from pre-made shelf-stable syrups. The liquid leachate from this so-so jam is no longer a byproduct, but rather the main product. Alas, the room's most obvious elephant must be addressed. Most of y'all don't own a bread machine, but all it's really doing in jam mode is heating itself up to a gentle simmer and then using these paddles to stir the mix every couple of minutes. You can totally do that over a stovetop. You bring the mix to a simmer, keep it there for half an hour, and then let it cool. It is a little messier since you might get some splatterage, and you do have to stir it frequently so it doesn't burn, but it's worth the effort if you consume sweet treats with regularity. Someone who might take longer than 2 weeks to consume such a small amount of jam would be better off parking a store-bought jar of Bon Maman in the fridge. With that resolved, the only remaining reason not to try this is you might get tired of just one flavor syrup that also coincides with your one flavor of jam in the fridge. Here's the thing. Even though I want my syrup to taste like a pure expression of a single fruit, the jammy, sweetened pulp usually gets a hint of something else. Here's one that I made out of frozen pineapple chunks. I put cinnamon in the wannabe jam so it tastes more like tepache. You might even try using panela instead of white sugar to lean into that direction. This mango syrup is going to be great for summer slushies. All I have to do is blend it with ice and a little tequila. But these leftover solids can get mixed with togarashi or tajin so that it's salty, spicy, and ready to mix into a nice chia pudding for breakfast. The strawberry one from earlier gets sumac in it for a complex tang, and the blueberry one gets a little vanilla paste and lemon zest for topping ricotta toast, whether that's served as a Saturday morning breakfast or a weeknight post-dinner dessert. Have I mentioned that the syrups are really good in matcha lattes? Wow, what a hot relevant food trend that I'm surely not way too late to post about once again as always. Surely the trend is still popping with the youth by the time this goes live and the algorithm is scanning my transcript to suggest it to those who wish for matcha content, right? Matcha latte, strawberry matcha, matcha matcha, best recipe, good recipe, sweet syrup, verified best, top 10 Minecraft Fortnite, right? Trade has paid to be mentioned at the end of this video. The matcha yuppies are already gone by now. Back to the drink that really fuels American progress. Coffee. You ever put blueberry syrup in your coffee? Pretty good. But trade coffee is good enough to drink black. You're probably used to every product advertised by a YouTube influencer being overpriced, but the price of a bag of trade coffee is comparable to a stale bag of beans from the grocery store. So it's not like you have to pay a huge markup to enjoy premium coffee. Trade coffee is roasted right before heading your way, so it's as fresh as you could possibly want it. You could rightfully argue that driving somewhere and buying beans from somebody that roasted them that exact day is even fresher, but coffee nerds know that you actually want them to mellow out for a couple of days after roasting. The time that trade coffee spends in the mail after being roasted to order just for you assures that it arrives to your door at the exact perfect time. You're gonna have to try it to believe it. Right now, Trade is offering my viewers 50% off of their 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/Shaquille. That's drinktrade, TRADE.com/Shaquille for 50% off your 1-month trial. I like what they sell, and I think you will too. drinktrade.com/Shaquille.